Bahudaram bahudamshtra karalam Trishtva lokam pravyatitas tataham Nabahas prishadiptam anekavarnam Vyatanana diptam vishala netram Trishtva hitam pravyatitam taratma Tritim navindami shamam cha Vishnu Damshtra karalani chate mukani Trishtva iva kala nalasan nibani Disho na jane nalabe cha sarma Prasiddha devesha jagan nivasa Ami chatvam dhritarashtrasya putra Sarve sahaiva vanipala sangai Bhishmadrona sutta putrastatasau Sahasmadiyai yoda mukyaihi Vaktranite tvaramana vishanti Damshtra karalani bhayanakani Kechid vilagna dasanantareshu Sadrishyante churnitairu tamangaihi. I will read the translations. Wait, okay. We will wait. Yeah, ich habe danke.
Which verse are we chanting?
27 we will chant. Yes. 22 till 27. I heard that this is the biggest board in the whole ISKCON, that even in Mayapur, they don't have a board like this. No, it's not a small one. It appears to be small, but actually when it reveals its form, it's like the Viratrupa. Just see this. Whoa. Vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti Vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti Damshtra karalani bhayanakani Damshtra karalani bhayanakani Kechid vilagna dashanantareshu Kechid vilagna dashanantareshu Sandrishyante churnitairu tamangaihi Sadrishyante churnitairu tamangaihi. Prabhus. Damshtra karalani bhayanakani Kechid vilagna dashanantareshu Sandrishyante churnitairu tamangai Vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti Tamshtra karalani bhayanakani Kechid vilagna dashanantareshu Sandrishyante churnitairu tamangai. Ladies. Vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti Damshtra karalani bhayanakani Kechid vilagna dasanantareshu Sandrishyante churnitairu tamangai. Vaktrani, mouths. Te, your. Tvaramana, rushing. Vishanti, are entering. Damshtra, Mahodaya, teeth, yes. Teeth. Karalani, terrible. Bhayanakani, very fearful. Kechit, some of them. Vilagna, becoming attached. Dashana antareshu, between the teeth. Sadrishyante, are seen. Churnitaihi, with smashed. Uttama angaihi, are heads. Okay, I will read all the verses from before. All the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadyas, the Vishwadevas, the two Ashvis, the Maruts, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. Almighty Armed One, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form, with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, and bellies, and your many terrible teeth. And as they are disturbed, so am I. O all-pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouth and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. O Lord of Lords, O Refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions I am bewildered. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also, are rushing into your fearful mouth, and some I see trapped with their heads smashed between your teeth. Purport. In the previous verse, the Lord promised to show Arjuna things he would be very interested in seeing. Now Arjuna sees that the leaders of the opposite party, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and all the sons of Dhritarashtra, and their soldiers, and Arjuna's own soldiers, are all being annihilated. This is an indication that after the death of nearly all the persons assembled in Kurukshetra, Arjuna will emerge victorious. It is also mentioned here that Bhishma, who is supposed to be unconquerable, will also be smashed. So also Karna. Not only will the great warriors on the other party like Bhishma be smashed, but some of the great warriors of Arjuna's side also. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priyem Panchakalpata Rubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is as far out. If you're going to get a trip, then read the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This is as much as you can trip about the world. It's over here, the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It's very interesting because in this chapter, Krishna is showing the Virat Rupa, the form that is nowhere else seen. He haven't showed this specific form before. And the proof for that is that you won't find in other scriptures the description of Virat Rupa that you are finding here. So, at the beginning, Krishna was telling Arjuna that you can't see me with your ordinary eyes. Natumam shakyase drashtum aneneva svachakshusha. That with your ordinary chakshu, with your ordinary eyes, you can't see me. So, divyam dadami te chakshum. Divyam, the divine, dadami, I am giving te chakshu. I will give you divine eyes, and by it you will pashyame yoga maishwaram. You will see my opulence, my aishwarya, the Virat Rupa. And so you can think about it as, how many of you have been in bioscope? You say bioscope? Theater. Yeah, so think about it as a theater, and you are getting 3D glasses on. So you start seeing things in 3D. And when Arjuna starts seeing the things in 3D, he, the adbhuta, he is in wonder upon beholding such a form. But then some verses before, the time aspect is introduced. Krishna is, at the moment when time is introduced, then actually all those pictures, they start moving. So now it is not like looking at 3D picture, but now it is like watching a 3D movie. And this is when Arjuna is saying that, oh, just like all the demigods, I'm also disturbed by fear. So here you have that wonder mixed with fear element that Arjuna is seeing. And very interesting purport, Prabhupada is saying that Arjuna, he was interested in seeing some things that will come in the future, and Krishna is showing him all that he wants to see. And also that Arjuna is not only seeing the warriors on the opposite side being killed, but he also sees his own soldiers being killed with their heads trapped and smashed between the teeth of the Virat Rupa. So this is very interesting, actually. I was watching your class some days ago, and you were saying that how you always put the mic close to the speaker's mouth. And then once you're sitting here, that's really uncomfortable, looking down and speaking. So yeah, this is how it feels, uncomfortable. Make it louder. Shri Shri Nrsimhadev Bhagavana Ki Jai. Virat Rupa, yes. So Arjuna wanted to see some things he could see past, present, and future also. So now here, Krishna is showing him things that will come in the future. And on personal application, human form of life is so special. When we close our eyes, we can see things. When we close our eyes, we can actually even see into the future. And the terror of realizing what is coming in the future is terrifying. So for a moment we can all close our eyes. And can you see something? We can see forms, we can see impressions. And if you think about the future, we can see many, many, many things coming in front of us. And you can open your eyes when you feel like. And the thing that it all comes with is some big feeling of responsibility. If we know the things that are in front of us, it's terrifying, and if we could see more precisely by the mercy of someone, then we would become very serious and very grave about all of our activities. The interesting part is also that we can bargain with the reality. We can bargain with the future. That things that we can do now and that will pay off in the future. That's very interesting phenomena. And if you see throughout the world, throughout the cultures, in every culture there is a concept of sacrifice. Like people 1,000 years ago, they used to burn something valuable, they used to sacrifice something alive, something. Even human sacrifices are predominant there. So you might be thinking, what was wrong with all those people? What was in their head to burn and to kill something valuable? And if you think more about it, actually we all do things like that. So we forestall the exuberant pleasures now. We dedicate ourselves to something, we discipline ourselves, try to focus on one or two things for a few years, and we become good at it. And as the time passes by, we take up responsibilities first for ourselves, and then when the devotees see that, oh, he's a responsible person, as the time passes by, then you are becoming responsible for other people also. But it is not so obvious that people will choose the meaningful path. I think when animals close their eyes, they can't see into the future, and that they are not self-conscious beings. But we humans, we are self-conscious beings. And then there is kind of a choice that you can say that everything what I do, it matters, or nothing matters in this world. And if you say that whatever I do, it has no meaning, no sense, then the part that you are getting is that you are not responsible. And you might say that nihilistic persons suffer dreadfully, but you can always whine uselessly about your life, point fingers on others and blaming others, and some people will feel sorry for you, and all things considered, you don't have to pick up any responsibility and you live your life like that. Or the other part is that you do choose to pick up responsibilities, and then whatever you do, it does matter. If you betray someone, it's a real betrayal. If you do things correctly, they are important. And your spirit is worth preserving. And interesting thing over here is also that when Arjuna sees in the future, not only that his enemy's side will be killed and destroyed, but many of it will go with a lots of loss on his own side. And like a practical application, something we could also aim on the life that would be worth living despite all the suffering and all the pain and all the troubles involved all together. When you look into the future, that, oh, if I could have that, that's worth living. And we as a devotees, we do look above the horizon, and we do shoot for the highest things that one can gain in this life. We do shoot for pure love of Krishna, and if we could have that one day, then all the suffering and all the troubles that we are going through, it's meaningful. It's meaningful. I remember being in Govardhana village. Just a few weeks later, I got some fungal infection. We Westerners are not used to such a weather, and at one point, a good 30% of my body was covered into an infection, and that infection, it's like a mosquito bite. Starts like that, and then it spreads. It has a red round that's itching, and in the middle, it's something like a wound, itchy thing. And if you itch it, every part that you scratch, it becomes the territory of that red part. And these are fungus. And if you have viruses, you take antibiotics and you get them out of your body. You kill all the viruses and then you recover yourself and you're okay. But fungus, difficult to get rid of. And I remember at one point I was so disturbed, I wasn't able to sit and to focus. Like so much sacrifice went on in getting over there. So many devotees, like we had to look for the replacement, and it was for the long time. So yeah, it was a long way to get there, and I finally got there. I actually missed the airplane. Missed it for 7 minutes. I saw it in front of my eyes, going away, and then the next 1 week I had nightmares of me not reaching India, and I knew it. If I don't get it this time, if I don't go there to do it now, later I know how spaced out I will be, occupied with other things. I will not do it later in my life. So I rebooked my ticket. It was 2 days later, and then I went there. And even in Vidyapita, I would sometimes wake up having a dream that I am still in Germany or somewhere, and then I would just kiss the earth. Thank you that I am here, my God. And then soon after all of that, I'm sitting in the class and it is just itching and you want to scratch yourself. And I was just so disturbed. And especially because the facilities were quite austere. They were like 3 rooms, and that was the room where we would sleep. At morning we would get up, clean the floor, and this is the place where we would have the classes. And also the clothes that we had, they couldn't really dry outside because the weather was so moisturous. And this is how some fungus get on the cloth, and I was wearing those cloths, and this is how I got the fungal infection. And then I remember at one point, my batchmates said different things, and looking for more facilities somewhere where we have something to dry better and things like that. And I remember going to the senior, and I was just saying that I don't know if I can make it, that I'm sitting but I just can't get my mind on what's going on despite everything. And then in the midst of all of that, he just said to me, if you're so disturbed by your problems in your life, that you should not be so much disturbed by the things that are going on in your life to distract you from Srimad Bhagavad. Like if it is to that extent, it's not good. It's really not good. And for a moment I thought, well, this is a quite convenient thing to say as a manager, You have certain facilities and you just ask people to be satisfied with it. But somehow somehow, because he was saying it, I was kind of okay with it. And the time passed, and almost 1 year passed, and just then I got to know his story. Almost at the end of the course, I got to hear that actually the person who was telling me that, he actually had tuberculosis. And there are 5 stages. On the 5th one, you are dead. He was on the 4th one. And on the 4th one, a person loses lots of blood. And when you lose lots of blood, you don't have energy, you can't walk, you can't stand. At one point, he couldn't sit, he was laying in a bed. That was 2011. And that was the time when that person made a summary study guide for Srimad Bhagavatam. He read Srimad Bhagavatam 8 times, from beginning till end. And this was the time when he was in his basically dead bed. This was the time when he made the summary studies on Srimad Bhagavatam. And interesting enough, his health got better. And he started sitting, he started walking. Nowadays he's an active person, he gives lots of classes, and by the name, his name is His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, and he is the author of Bhagavad Subodhinis that we have here in the library. He also wrote many other books. And I just remember him anytime we had some part when some prayers would come up in Srimad Bhagavatam, some of our batchmates, we would go to him and we would beg him, Prabhu, you please give the class. We had 7 different teachers, but when it comes to prayers, we would beg him that, oh Prabhu, you please find some time and you please give us a class. And he actually quoted a verse from there's a beautiful verse in the 3rd canto. It comes in the episode of, so Kapila Dev is telling this verse, and it comes in episode of the description of the darshan of Krishna, that how a yogi should meditate upon Krishna. And it goes that Hasam Harer Avanata Kila Loka Tivra Shokashru Sagara Vishoshanam Atyudaram. So the Hasam, the smile of the Lord, Hasam Harer, the smile of Lord Hari. Avanata Kila means it is benevolent. What's the other word for benevolent? It's like pleasing, delightful. Yes. Oh, actually, when I was complaining to him, saying that, I can't do this anymore, I'm done, then he quoted this verse, and then he said, if you can't see the smile of the Lord, then, and if you are so disturbed by the things that are going on in your life that you can't absorb in Srimad Bhagavatam and see the smile of the Lord, it's not worthy. It's not worthy. And Hasam Harer Avanatakila, Loka Tivra. Loka means the people of this world. Tivra means intense. Shoka means lamentation. Ashru means tears. Sagara means oceans. So the people in this world, throughout as they change their bodies, because of intense crying, they cry out an ocean of tears. Hasam Harer Avanatakila Loka Tivra Shokashru Sagara Vishoshana Matyudaram. And in all of that crying, the smile of the Lord can pacify all of that. So we also have an experience of having wonderful festivals here in Simhachalam, and I would close with that. And sometimes you do lots of service and you're fried with few devotees around you, or something is not going the way it was planned, and then you just go up in the temple room and you look at the Nrsimhadev, and if you see him smiling, it means you're doing a good job. Then everything pays off. Then everything is okay. If you, by the end of your service, see Nrsimhadev pleased, smiling, then you know everything is okay. Like that. So I would stop here. Are there any questions or comments? Mahoday.
What did Gauranga mean by that? It's not worth it.
I wrote down exactly what he told me, and I have to look up in my notes, my Vidyapit notes, what he told me. But it was going down the way that we should not get so self-conscious, and so we should not allow ourselves being so much, not allow our mind to be so much occupied by the problems, so that we can't focus on our spiritual practice, so that we can't absorb ourselves in Srimad Bhagavatam. Something else comes in front of Srimad Bhagavatam, or seeing the smile of the Lord. Something down those lines.
So it means like nothing is worth diverting our attention.
Exactly, yeah.
May I ask one question?
Yes, Prabhuji.
You were saying, what was his name? Who were
Gauranga Darshan Prabhu.
Gauranga Dasam Prabhu.
Mhm.
So, sorry, I'm new. That's why I'm asking. I think he's a very great and big devotee. Okay, so if he's a big devotee of Krishna or Prabhu, then why does he suffer from such kind of disease? Why doesn't God protect him and make him cure?
Very good question, and I think our sadhu, Mother Jivan Prabhu, has the best answer for it. Yes.
Yeah, Krishna is taking care about his devotees, but not for the body, but for his conscience. Therefore, sometimes devotees suffer, but it is good for their spiritual life. Like Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, he was coming to America, and during the way he had 2 heart strokes. But he was continue his mission. It means sometimes life in our devotional life is not so easy from material point of view, but this is not the point, like was on the lecture. The point is to focus always to spiritual life, to making seva for Krishna. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I would also add that Prabhupada gives an example of a doctor, and sometimes he might cut open the stomach, but he will get him cured. So in the same way, there are like 5 koshas, 5 levels of consciousness. Prabhupada speaks about it in the 13th chapter, verse 5. And throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam, we can see examples where Krishna, the first one is Annamaya Kosh. That's when somebody sees God, presence of divine in his food. We can also say that kids are on this level, and animals also. All that they do is putting things in their mouth. They understand life through food. And so on, the consciousness also rises. And we can see that Krishna does protect devotees on different stages. But once Bashar Prabhu, he told me something was going on in my life, and he said, you know, the more advanced devotee you are, the harder challenge you get. And the life of a pure devotee is such an adventure and surrender unto Krishna. But don't worry, depending on the level we are, Krishna reciprocates with us. Yeah.
That's why my life is boring.
Yes.
You were talking a bit about loss in the beginning. Could you about loss, like when we lose things and people?
Makes what?
Loss. Could you comment a bit more, like what is the right attitude for when, for example, when we lose some person in our life, like for example, someone close to us dies, and like we know that it's just a body and we shouldn't like get attached and lament about it, but still we get those feelings and like we feel devastated if the person was close to us. So what is the right attitude and how should we like act? And yeah, maybe you can comment.
How should we deal with the losses of those who are near and dear to us? You know, when somebody who is close to us dies, leaves his body, then the relationship we have, it is not only that the person goes away, but it's like kind of like a part of you also, kind of like a die with the person. And having someone, loving someone as much as we love ourselves, or more than ourselves, is very rare and very noble. And then Mataji is asking what to do when somebody does that and still time disappoints us. One person leaves before the other. Yeah. If you have had any loss, I'm very sorry about it. Well, you know, I'm initiated by His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj, and not very long ago he also left his body, and I was on the farm when they took him on to the hospital, and let me take a different example better. One day Arjuna went on the battlefield, and do you have a pencil? Can you get a knife and a? What? I need a knife and a pen and some pencil. Thank you. So one day, it was a plot. So Karna challenged Arjuna. Arjuna went on the battlefield, somewhere very far away, and on the way he was feeling something is wrong, like something is not okay. And then coming closer, and he had a fight with Karna, and nobody won, and they were going back on the way. Krishna was driving the chariot, and a wooden one. Yeah, or a colorful one can also be. Yeah, thank you. And he was coming back and he had some feeling in his heart, something is wrong, something is so terribly wrong. And Krishna actually drew him to the place where they used to camp. He's getting down, nobody is there to greet him. And that's weird because they are people who would glorify his feast and throw flowers and everything, but nobody was there. And then Arjuna goes further, he goes into the tents, and people are just very stepping back and just not reacting. So he's coming to the middle, to the main part, where his brothers are. Thank you so much. And Yudhishthira is sitting, his face down. Bhishma also is face down. Nakula, Sahadev, all of them, they have their faces down. And Arjuna starts inquiring about what happened and asking them to speak. Nobody can say even a word. So he goes to Yudhishthira, he takes him by the shoulders and he shakes him and tell me brother, what happened? No answer. And he goes to Bhishma, to Bhima and to other brothers, taking by the lion-like shoulders, shaking them that please tell, whatever it is, please tell me what happened. They can't say anything. He goes further into the middle chambers of the setup that was there, and he sees Subhadra and Draupadi weeping on the dead body of Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu is the son of Arjuna. Abhimanyu was such a fighter, he was equal to Arjuna. He was such a fighter that he could fight at the same time with Bhishma, Karna, Drona, Kripa. And he was murdered by those elderly warriors, great Maharathis. When Abhimanyu used to perform something, even on the opposite side, the soldiers, they would applaud him. Even if he is the enemy, but they would respect him for the skills that they have. And so what happened, it was a plot. They formed a chakra formation, they attacked, and nobody could break the formation except Arjuna and Abhimanyu. And they knew that. So the plan was that he will break through and all the army will go inside. But as he broke through, they closed and they murdered the kid, Abhimanyu. And when Arjuna saw that, he fell on his knees and he was weeping, he was crying. And remember, all this is happening after he heard the Bhagavad Gita. So he knew all the philosophy, he knew that we are not this body, that we are spirit souls, that sufferings that are coming in this world, the relationships, loss, we should tolerate. He knew all of that. But at that moment, we are humans, we will fall down, we will cry. And that's okay. And when something like that happens in your life, you should allow yourself a time to be with that person in your heart and to really pray for that person and go through all the emotions that you have. You see, even Arjuna did that. And now comes the part of that you were wondering.
We are live, yeah? Yes.
Oh no.
Remember, take this into consideration.
Oh no. Oh, don't leave.
This is a friend, you know.
The next day, Arjuna, he got up. The enemy part, the whole plot was about it that if his son dies, he will get so discouraged that he will not pick up a bow and an arrow anymore in his life. Because his son is as dear to him as his own life. And the next morning, Arjuna got up, he did his morning duties, and at a particular time, he blew his conch shell and he went into the fight. And all the enemies were just like really taken back. So sometimes life does this to us. I will pay for it. It goes on my account. €1. And when something like this happens, you take the association of devotees and you practice and practice and practice and practice and practice till the point you will be able to write again. Yeah, and I will clean also. Yeah, so that's one thing to do. And Bashar likes this one. Sadhana, Sat, Dana, Iti, Sadhana. Sat means eternal, Dana means wealth, Iti is sadhana. So the definition of sadhana is basically your eternal wealth is sadhana. So the things, the spiritual things that we are doing, they are eternal. And at points in life, life is going to be challenging, it is going to be hard. And at one point we can't sustain our lives based on the material possessions and on the material skills that we all have. Life is so cruel, it is going to smash you, like really smash you. And in those points you can turn towards the values and practices that you have been accumulating. Yeah. again, if you have had some loss, I'm very sorry about it. Okay, so we will stop here. One more time, just to summarize, we were hearing about the Virat Rup today, and Prabhupada commenting, Arjuna seeing the future and seeing the loss, seeing victories and also losses on his side. And something on our personal application is that when we close our eyes, we can also see into the future. And the right thing is to pick up the responsibility and pick up the responsibility for it. And we derive meaning from all of that. I wish to thank you all very much for your kind attention. I'm very happy to be in Simhachalam. It's very happy to be with you in the room also, Pasha Prabhu. And yeah, festival is coming up, so I wish you a good rest and happy next few days. Recharge yourself, go to the lake if you like, and then get ready to serve ecstatically for the upcoming festival. Thank you very much. Simhachalam Dhamma ki, Shri Nrsimhadev Bhagavana ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.